Hi guys, and today we'll be reading Mikey and the Dragons by Jocko Willing, drawings by Joan Bazak. This book is dedicated to Mikey, Mark, Rain, Chris, and Sith, who went into the fray and fought the dragons. Mikey and the Dragons by Jocko Willing, drawings by Joan Bozak. There once was a little boy named Mike, and there were many things in the world that he didn't like. He was scared of spiders and beetles and bugs, and always thought they hid under his rugs. They were creepy and crawly and nasty and mean, and he ran from every bug he had ever seen. But it wasn't only insects that gave Mikey a scare. There were many other things for which Mikey didn't dare. He left the light on when he went to sleep at night. He was scared there were monsters ready to bite. Hidden in his closet under his bed, he thought they might get him when he lay down his head. He imagined a monster with giant teeth and claws, grabbing his neck with its giant paws, and if it wasn't monsters coming to take him away, it would be slimy snakes slithering his way. Yes, Mikey was scared of evil snakes too. He was horrified of what they could do. They could sneak in the house and hide in his drawer, and then bite him to bits of that he was sure. There were many other things that gave Mikey a scare, which meant there were many things that he wouldn't dare. He didn't like the water or to go for a swim. He was scared that giant sharks might come and get him. He didn't like the playground with ladders and slides. He thought if he fell off, he would surely die. Yes, as you can see, things for Mikey were bad. And being afraid made Mikey very sad. Because so many things scared Mikey to the bone, it turns out Mikey was often alone. He would sit by himself and look at the sky, and when he would quietly ask himself why. Why did so many things give him a scare? How could he ever overcome all that fear? How could he ever stand up and be brave? Or would being afraid always make him a slave? And then one day Mikey noticed a book. He opened it up and took a quick look. It had pictures of dragons with fangs and all kinds of scary things that made Mikey shake. But in the picture there was a boy too. He didn't look scared, but like he knew what to do. He even thought Mikey was scared, and then he decided that he would give the book a read. He opened the first page, which he eagerly read, and this was what the dragon book said. There once was a kingdom long ago, and the kingdom had suffered a horrible day. Their protector, the leader, their king, he died, and when they found out, the whole village cried. When the king was alive, he was a powerful force. Now they looked the dead king away by carriage and horse. They knew they would miss him, and that made them sad. But there was something else that made them feel bad. The king had always been so strong and brave and protected the kingdom from the dragon cave. The dragon cave was just over the hill and filled with scary creatures that were ready to kill. Horrible dragons of every single type who saw people in the kingdom worse. The people thought the dragons had breath of fire, and that the dragons stood 20 feet tall or higher. They thought the dragon had a sword stopping scales and powerful long razor sharp tails. But the brave king never let the beasts around. He stood up and fought and held his ground. And as long as the king had been the king, none of the dragons could do a thing. Yes, the king always kept the dragons at bay by going out bravely into the fray. It seemed without fear the king would go fight. He'd beat the dragons and come home at night. But now that the king had died and was gone, there was only one person to fight and carry along on. But that person was big or misty or strong. In fact, he hadn't been alive that long. Now the person who had dragons to to chase was just a little boy with a smile on his face. Yes, the person that must know, stand up and be bold, was just the little prince who was only 7 years old. And the people in the village just couldn't be sure. And this young boy, the little prince, could enter. Who could someone so young, so small, stand up to the mighty dragons that were so tall? And the prince himself, he also didn't know if he had the courage, if what it would take to go. Because he was so little, small, and young. He didn't know if he could get the job done. How could he make the mean dragons yell when he could barely lift a sword or a shield? But no one else dared to step up and fight. Not the kingdom guards or even the knights. So even though the prince was scared, he still knew that fighting the dragons was something he must do. So he went to the king's bedroom and opened the door and went inside and walked across the floor. He opened the old chest that was tall and wide, where the king had kept all his rare gear inside. The shield was big and the sword was so long. It was no wonder the king had been so strong. But the prince was a boy, not a king like his dad, and though left up, the gear took all the strength the boy had, and that made the prince get even more nervous, and he wondered if he was ready for this service. Fighting dragons was such a scary task. The prince to himself had some questions to ask. How could a little boy ever be a man? How could a little prince ever make a stand? But it took bottom of the chest, there was a small note, and it took like something that the king wrote. Just when Prince thought he was over and done, he picked up the note and it said, "To my son." He took a deep breath and opened the note he had found, and this is what his father, the king, had wrote. We'll show the note. We'll continue this in the next video. Bye.